Welcome back, Patriots, for another episode of the Bolt Brad Show, where we break down all the major news that you need to know about heading into your work day, your work week, maybe the weekend. Although it is Thursday, so we got one more day. We got 48 hours before we hit that bad boy, that good old weekend. But it's good to see all of you. We got some news to cover. Let's jump right into it. By the way, I had a lot of fun with you guys yesterday. That was a good time. Anytime I'm laughing, we're having a good time. We're always rocking and rolling. Well, there's some updates here with Iran. And if you saw yesterday's episode, there was a ceasefire. And then the Israelis said, well, Lebanon's not part of that ceasefire agreement. So Israel was bombing the crap out of the Hezbollah terrorists over there in Lebanon. Iran didn't like that. So then there was rumors that there were going to not do the ceasefire and they were not going to let ships through. I mean, it's definitely a reed in the wind. Nobody really knows exactly what's happening right now, but we're going to try to fill you in as best as possible. We have the Iranian president speaking up. Who knew they still had one? Says Israeli strikes against Hezbollah will make Saturday talks meaningless. Doesn't this kind of just give credibility that the Iranian regime still just wants to support terrorism? I mean, yeah, I actually agree. It's crazy that I'm agreeing with Iran. Yes. If you guys want to still keep doing the same thing, getting your you-know-what pushed in, okay. Yeah. All right. I mean, we could do this all day. Oh, we got plenty of bombs. We got plenty of bombs. We got plenty of military personnel. So clearly the beating's not bad enough to where they want to still support terrorism. And remember, people said, oh, well, they're not a threat to the United States. It's not a national security threat. Really? Because they're the leading sponsor of terrorism, and they still want, Hezbollah to kind of be able to do their thing. That's a little silly. Well, again, the Iranian president, Mossad Pezeshkian, I gave it a shot, says planned talks between the U.S. and Iran on Saturday will be, quote, meaningless if Israel continues to attack its attacks on Lebanon Thursday. See, they're not attacking Lebanon, though. In the same way, we're not attacking Iran. We're attacking the Iranian regime in the same way the Israelis are attacking the Hezbollah psychos over there in Lebanon. Yeah, nobody's at war with Iran. Nobody's at war with Lebanon. No. But when you phrase it like that, then it makes it seem like, oh, the Israelis, the Jews, they're always the problem. They're not. That's just your IDS talking. Well, the president of Iran, to be more specific, issued the warning in a statement on X saying Israel's strikes are a flagrant violation of the truce agreed to earlier this week. Now, remember, it was kind of displayed pretty quickly, as far as what I saw, that was not included in the ceasefire deal, meaning that Lebanon was left out. Is that true? I don't know. Just reporting what the outlets are saying. Now, the repeated aggression by the Zionist entity against Lebanon is a flagrant violation of the initial ceasefire agreement and a dangerous indicator of deceit and lack of commitment to the potential accords. The continuation of these aggressions will render negotiations meaningless. Our hands will remain on the trigger. Stop it. What trigger, dude? You have nothing. I'm so tired of these people acting like, they got all this stuff just kind of sitting around. And a dangerous indicator of deceit, look, its hands on a trigger, and Iran will never abandon its Lebanese brothers and sisters. So you're saying you're never going to abandon terrorism is basically what you're saying. Because, these Lebanese brothers and sisters isn't what they're attacking. Got no problem with the Lebanese people. In the same way I got no problems with the Iranian people. What we got problems with is terrorist, brah. But this is the same leftic tactic that we see of trying to obfuscate and hide behind certain words. And when you make things very big rather than specific, this is what we get into. Oh, you're at war with Iran. No, we're not. Sorry. Nope, we're at war with the a-holes that want to support terrorism. That's who we were pinpointing. Am I right or am I right? You guys let me know. All right, there's something else down here that I saw. Unless they changed it. Oh, it was... No, there was down here. Hold on a second. No, I guess they changed it. Okay, well, moving on. I saw this last night, or at least heard about it. And maybe it wasn't last night. Maybe it was during the daytime. But we got an article about it. Anywho, it says Department of War leaker nabbed in journalist tip case as Kash Patel signals next move. I'm pretty sure this was last night. I saw a video on it. Let's break it down. The FBI has arrested a former Army employee accused of leaking classified information to a journalist. FBI Director Kash Patel said Wednesday that Courtney Williams, 40 years old, a former employee at Fort Bragg, who previously held top security clearance, has been charged with transmitting classified national defense information. Uh-oh. You know why people do this? And you guys should know the answer automatically because we talk about it almost every single day. Consequences are what? The consequences for this type of behavior are what? They're not bad enough. And so you know what? People keep doing it. We've done this multiple times a year. We do these articles, I would say probably at least, I would say 5 times. I would say peaks at 5. We'll say between 3 to 5. And that should be a lot. You should almost go your entire life without ever hearing like something like this happen. This should be so foreign to you that your mind should be blown that it's happening. I'm reading this going, yeah, here we go, another one. Another one just giving away our information. You have to make something like this worth something big time for somebody wanting to commit. How about your life? You want to be giving intelligence to a foreign adversary or somebody else? How about your life? Is it worth your life? And some people think it. Some people it is. Some people it is worth their life. Okay, well, see you later. While we're all having fun on this rock, peace. And by the way, I'm serious. If it's not your life, it needs to be something harsher because people are just doing this left and right. Nothing will happen to this person. They'll go to prison, maybe. And it's a nice prison too. You know, 3 meals a day. You get a weight room and all that other stuff. Nice little spa and sauna. Well, we're all paying taxes, busting our butt to pay the bills. Well, FBI and our partners have arrested a former Special Operations Command employee who supported our top-level military warfighters for allegedly transmitting classified information to a member of the media. Outstanding work by FBI Charlotte and the FBI Counterintelligence and Espionage Division, as well as our Justice Department partners. Let this serve as a message to any would-be leakers. We're working these cases and we're making arrests. The FBI will not tolerate those who seek to betray our country and put Americans in harm's way. That doesn't mean anything to these people. It doesn't. Okay, they're making arrests. It might spook them out a little bit. What's the punishment? Like what's gonna happen? It's no different, really, than all these smash and grabs have been taking place, where the cops go, "Yeah, we're making arrests." It's like, yeah, but they're out the next day, or they're out within like a couple hours with no cash bail. And in some cases, they're not even being arrested. You just go talk to them. So yeah, you could arrest somebody. Well, what happens after that? Nothing. Williams held top security clearance until 2016. Authorities say that from 2022 to 2025, she communicated with an investigative journalist through more than 10 hours of phone calls and 180 text messages. She allegedly shared tactics, techniques, and procedures related to Special Operations Force. While not named in court documents, the journalist appears to be Seth Harp, the author of the Fort Bragg Cartel, Drug Trafficking, and Murder in the Special Forces. There's a title for you. Sweet cheese. An excerpt from the book appeared in Politico under the headline, "My Life Became a Living Hell, One Woman's Career in Delta Force and the Army's Most Elite Unit," and focused on Williams' experience in Delta Force. So it's not, this is just, I don't want to say it's boring, but like, what'd she leak? Trump unhinged DOJ will not even say what classified information she allegedly leaked. He said her arrest and imprisonment is an outrage. It's always an outrage to the media. Oh, coach, it's irreprehensible. They know it's out. You want to know what's outrageous? Your guys' garbage investigative reporting. That's what's garbage. It's sad that YouTubers, and I'm not diminishing YouTubers, they work freaking hard. They work really hard. Like Cam Higbee, James Klug, Savannah Hernandez, Nick Shirley, all those people. They work hard. They work harder than these guys do. When the hell are these guys getting up off their couch and going out? You know what I mean? I swear there's like no journalism going on. You guys heard something, you don't even verify it anymore, and you just put it out there. I'm not a journalist. I'm a dude in a closet. Yeah, I didn't go to school for journalism. And by the way, why do you have to go to school for journalism? Did anybody know that? All journalism is you go out, you hear a bunch of people say things, you verify it, and then you write it down. Why do you have to go to school for that? It's pretty quiet. I'm hearing a lot of crickets. There are a lot of crickets in here. You shouldn't have to go to school for it. If you look at the Bible, I always talk about this. When you look at the Bible, the gospel, all it is you're reading a newspaper, basically. It's just journalism. It's a bunch of guys that saw and heard a bunch of things that Jesus did and what people saw about it, and they wrote it down on a piece of paper or parchment. Or papyrus, however it was written. Some of the Bible was written on animal skin and stuff like that back in the day. I'm not saying the gospel was, but some of the Old Testament. So that was it. Like, all of you could be journalists. You don't need to go to school for this stuff. Anywho, we're on a tangent here. It's just always something that I found like really interesting. Like a little odd, a little freaky deaky. By the way, hit that like button if you guys haven't already. Really appreciate everybody always joining the chat and joining my show. It's always cool seeing the audience that we built here over a long period of time. Greatly appreciate your guys' love and kindness that you always show me. What's interesting here is Rumble seems to be acting up a little bit. Kind of odd. But I see you guys in there. See you guys on YouTube. How's the stream looking? Like, how's it feeling? Why don't we go to the chat here a little bit? What'd Craig say? If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. Also, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. That should be a tattoo. Yeah, that's a back tattoo. Okay. So that was what was trending. That article is trending on X right now. We have Florida enforces English-only driver's license test for safety. I'm telling you, maybe I got to move to Florida. Florida, the property tax is trying to get rid of that, right? There's no state income tax. Now the English-only driver's license test for safety. If anybody lives in Florida, what's free America taste like? I've been to Florida, and I had to drive like 40 minutes to a cruise ship. I was looking on the side of the road. I saw maybe 2 pieces of trash. I've never seen something so clean before. It was Orlando to, oh God, what's the port down there? Canaveral. I went from Orlando to the Port Canaveral, I think is what it's called. Saw like 2 pieces of trash, and that's not even an exaggeration. At some point, I remember at some point I was looking out the window, I was just counting, and stopped at 2. And I know it sounds like BS, but I live here in California. You'll see that if you step outside your home on the curb. More than 2. Anywho, Florida enforces English-only driver's license test for safety. So Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles started requiring all driver's license knowledge and skills tests in English only on February 6, 2026. And you know what they'll say? That's racist. That's discriminatory against those that don't know English. Maybe it is. Maybe it is discriminatory. But you know what? All our signs are in English. Yep. It kind of makes sense, doesn't it? That all the signs that you're driving on the highways with and the roads with that are in English, that your test be in English. It does make a little bit of sense, doesn't it? But it's always racism. It's discrimination. Dude, if I was living in France and I moved there to live there, don't you think that I should probably know French? And that I would be expected to read things in French because that's what the language is that they speak there? But what do we always have to act? There's another tattoo for you. We always have to act stupid. Because if we pretend, life gets a lot easier. Officials say it's essential for safety as drivers need to read English. I swear I didn't read this beforehand and I didn't read ahead. They get it. Whoever the author is, they get it here on X. It might be AI. It might be a real human being. Either way, they got their head on straight. Look at this. Read it. Officials say it's essential for safety as drivers need to read English road signs and traffic laws. Correct. Not difficult logic. Not hard to comprehend, but what people do, because it goes against them, because they always have to be the victim, and if they're not the victim, they'll always make sure they back up somebody else that they're pretending to be a victim for. This is racist. Supporters like Representative Greg Stube, interesting, call it common sense, while critics worry about barriers of non-English speakers and always, I told you, this stuff writes itself. The critics worry about barriers for non-entry speakers and impacts on rideshare drivers. Isn't that a little alarming that rideshare drivers, the impacts on them? So a lot of the rideshare drivers don't know English. The policy follows similar rules in a few other states. Let's see what this says.
Florida is becoming the first state to only give their driver's license exams in English. It was just announced that starting on Friday in the state of Florida, all DMV tests, including those for 18-wheeler licenses, are going to be administered in English only, and you will not be able to bring a translator. This includes all printed exams in Spanish, Haitian Creole, and other languages will be completely removed. You are only going to be able to read, write, and understand English if you want to get a license in the state of Florida.
Now, the argument for this is, well, you might not know English that well, but you know it well enough to read the signs like stop, or stop ahead, or no U-turn, things like that. Parking, no parking. That would be the, if I wasn't to be acting silly, that would be the argument of like, they know basic words enough to be able to be on the road, but they don't know English well enough to be able to probably take the test. That'd be the argument. And honestly, that's actually a pretty good argument if I wasn't to be silly and act like a knucklehead on air. But that's what we do here. We get to act silly and we get to act like a knucklehead. What's wrong with that? We're having a good time. Why do people always have to be Debbie Downers? Like, especially when you're talking about news and politics, you have to have fun, because then you're just going to get pissed, and then your life's going to be upset. Not, your life, you'll be upset. Your life is going to be not as fun, and we want it to be fun because this is politics, and sometimes it can be frustrating, and we don't want that for you, do we? I think it should be universal in all states, all 50 states. Oh, I agree with you. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to me, but just because what makes sense to us doesn't mean it makes sense to other people. Anyways, all righty. What else we got rocking and rolling here? Oh yeah. Let's get into the freaky deaky, dude. Oh boy, I saw this. I'm into stuff like this. What I'm about to show you, and you guys know it. I'm into like the quirky, weird stuff. Like when we saw Reggie the other week. If you don't know who Reggie was and you haven't seen that clip, I uploaded it. Reggie was a trans dude that deleted like 3 people in his past, and he was living with some teenagers. One of the best stories, freaky deaky, by the way, evil, gross, totally wrong. That's already baked into the cake. Reggie was a story, and we got that like 2-3 weeks ago. Everybody knows Reggie. We made Reggie famous. And now we're about to make Rex here famous. Now, Rex is different. Rex is the guy about to speak of here. Rex is not trans. Rex is a whole different beast. I hope you're ready for this. Because I'm sincere, by the way. I'm into the freaky deaky. Family of Rex. I don't butcher his last name like I always do. It's like my motto. It's my forte. Hummermans. He's the Gilgo, and you gotta be careful with that, because if you say with a D, it's something totally different. Gilgo Beach serial killer. This guy's the killer. I told you he's gonna get a little freaky deaky. The Gilgo Beach. This guy right here with like the toupee on. That guy deleted a lot of people, and he buried them. Here we go. Well, the family of the Gilgo Beach victims get closure after decades-long nightmare. Justice finally found you. Here we go. Which is awful. It's terrible. It is terrible, by the way. Do I even need to say that? Yeah, I feel like I have to, because then these lefty psychos will clip you and be like, oh, he's for serial killers. No, I just find it extremely fascinating. It's disgusting. Because the reason I find it fascinating, I've always been this way, is that I can I love to figure out how people tick. So when people act amok and act weird and act like idiots, it always fascinates me because it's not something I would ever do. Like these idiots going and smashing, act like idiots, throwing rocks at police officers. It's fascinating to me because I would never do something like that. Or, scream at Teslas as they drive by because you hate Elon Musk. It is so fascinating to me that these people exist. It's freaky. They're freaks. Well, they waited decades for the truth. Relatives of the 8 women, and by the way, there's more. Start digging because there is more out there. Who were choked to death by sick Long Island serial killer Rexy. That's what we're going to call him. We're going to call him Rexy. The last name is hard to pronounce. Finally have closure after the hulking architect pleaded guilty to the grisly slayings. So that was the update yesterday. The dude pleaded guilty to this. He's the real deal. He is the serial killer. A long-awaited but bittersweet chapter in the decades-old nightmare. Quote, to every family out there still searching, still believing, still holding on, please do not give up hope. This comes from Melissa Can, the sister of one of the victims, which is just awful. Look at these young ladies, too. It's sad, man. The 8 women killed by Long Island serial killer Rexy between 1993 and 2010. Man, that guy went on he almost went on for 20 years. And there's more. Allegedly, these are just way more than 8 from what I'm hearing. Even when it feels impossible, even when the years pass and it feels like you can't keep going, your loved ones matter. They are not forgotten. And one day answers can come finally to Maureen, the promise I made to you so long ago, I would never stop searching for you. This guy just looks freaky, dude. If you saw this guy, you trusted him? Just if you saw him, I'm talking, we're doing like full discrimination, not in a bad way, right? Everybody discriminates in some way, shape, or form. We're not doing racial discrimination. If I saw this guy, the haircut and everything alone, I'm raising questions immediately. And this guy's very much like Ed Kemper. If you've never seen the show, oh God, what is it called? It's on Netflix. It's about serial killers. Mindhunters. Amazing show. So Mindhunters is all about serial killers, and it's about these 2 FBI agents, and this is before they started the word serial killers, the whole thing. They were starting to meet all these guys that started killing a bunch of people, and then they coined the term serial killers. But the show is about them kind of going into the prisons and talking to these guys because there's real life recordings of them doing so, and they just turned it into a TV show. It's not a documentary. It's, it's scripted, but man, is it good. And if you see these actors that play the serial killer, talk about knocking it out of the park. Some of the best acting I've ever seen. So you should see that. So anyways, Ed Kemper is a really large dude. Freaky deaky. This is what he kind of reminds me of. Little Eddie. Except this is Rexy. And look how dark those eyes are. You know what I mean? Like demonic. Like you see in the TV shows. Can't even get his tie on right. I don't like it. In court, many of the victim family members gasped as prosecutors asked Rexy how he killed each of his helpless victims. Whoa, okay. So he said strangulation. The 62-year-old convict said 8 times, appearing to smirk as he did so. Ugh. This is the motto of these people, man. These serial killers, man. They get into it. He admitted to deleting all 7 women named on a murder indicted logged against him. In a shocking admission, he coped to an 8th victim, 34-year-old Karen Vergata. The plea deal closed out a haunting chapter in Long Island history. Wow. So is coped? I know people have used that term. Is that saying like is he saying he didn't do that he didn't delete this lady here? Is that what that means? He coped. I don't know what that means. Let me know in the chat. Where are you guys at? Yeah, fill me in on that one. I need your guys' help. I don't know what's going on with that one. So anyways, yeah, the guy pleaded guilty, dude. He admitted to deleting them. And I would imagine that there's some sort of other deal behind the scenes where maybe he's not getting a death penalty or something like that. He's going to spend life in prison. But hey, let us know where else you did these heinous crimes. Isn't that crazy, dude? even in like the early 2000s, there's still serial killers. There's if you haven't read these books, matter of fact, let me go here really quick. Un momento, please. Oh gosh, what is it called? I think it's called American Serial Killer. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it for you. Oh yeah, it's called American Predator. This is a good book. This book right here. Can we do a full preview? Yeah, if you're into like books like this is a real thing. The Hunt for the Most Meticulous Serial Killer of the 21st Century. Really great writing. I got to give it to this author. When people say page turner, I would say the first half easily, you're like, dude, you couldn't put it down. Because you're wondering what happened to this girl. And this happened like pretty recently. And so your mind is kind of blown that stuff like this does take place. I'm telling you, man, if you're into true crime, if you're into the freaky deaky, this book here, oh, incredible. Anywho. So very, very well written book. Shout out to the author. Who's the author again? I forgot her name. Maureen Callahan. Really good stuff. I would be willing. I hope that she writes more similar books like this. And then the other one, the famous one, is the Zodiac, right? With Robert Graysmith. So if you haven't read that book, I don't think the covers have changed over the years, but if you have an opportunity to read The Zodiac by Robert Graysmith, obviously they made the movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. That actually does a pretty good job of explaining what happens in the book too. But I would say read the book. You get a little bit more information in there and read about the Zodiac. So really, really fascinating stuff on that one. But anywho, yeah. Now, do I just read serial killer books? Of course not. Of course not. I read all sorts of stuff, but I'm always, like I said, I've always been fascinated in people that act weird and goofy. Like, again, I fake it on camera. I don't really act necessarily goofy and weird in real life, but you already know that. I don't need to explain. I don't need to explain myself to you. You don't own me. All right, what the hell are we talking about in here? Coped is slang for admit, confessed, or plead guilty to the crime. Okay, so Cope the 8th. Okay, so then he just, maybe he didn't strangle the 8th one then? He strangled the 7, but because it said he coped with the 8th, or the last. I didn't understand that one. That guy was a little confused there, Craig. Craig, clear it up for me. I need it. I don't understand. I got to figure it out. Right, you start like shaking because you're like, I don't know what's going on. Oh, there we go. I always like when we get into articles like that. You know what I mean? It's something a little bit different. Okay, what else do we have here? Let me see. I'm trying to see if there's anything silly. Let me go back to my X page really quick, because sometimes that's a little bit of where I do a tiny bit of show prep and kind of log certain things. Cope a plea. All right. Oh, here we go. Yep. This is from CBS News. This was last night. Here we go. I knew I had something queued up in my Twitter page. Immigration arrests of people without criminal convictions have increased 8-fold under Trump. Now, people get upset with this. And I don't want to say rightfully so, but Donald Trump kind of, I don't want to say blocked himself. That's not the right word. Donald Trump came out and said, oh, we're going to focus on the criminals. And when you say things like that, then when you start going after people that aren't necessarily criminals, even though they came here illegally, which in ipso facto would make you a criminal in some way, shape, or form. And the lefties have to break it down. Well, you know, it's not really like a violent crime. It's more or less like a misdemeanor. It's like, okay, let's. This is all we have to split hairs, right? Now the guy broke the law. Okay. Well, I mean, if you go over 65 on the freeway, aren't you breaking the law? I mean, you've never thrown trash on the ground before. Aren't you a criminal? It's just stuff like that. It's like, okay, I'm moving on. I'm not gonna bother having a conversation with you. You're too stupid to you know. You're so stupid. You got to pretzel your way into reasoning and rationalizing, you know, wrong behavior. Sure, whatever, buddy. It's not worth my time. So immigration arrest of people without criminal convictions. And so they get upset because Trump said that thing. And he shouldn't have. He should have said, yeah, if you're an illegal alien, expect to be deported. That's all you need to say. You don't need to talk about criminals. You don't need to talk about all these other things. No. So I'm seeing percentages in this article. I don't really go off percentages. That could be very misleading. You could deport one person. Now you deport, 100. Oh, there's 1,000% increase. It's like, yeah, so it's 100 people. There's 25 million people here illegally. It's not that impressive. So I see a lot of percentages here, which tells me, what are you burying? Arrests of immigrants without criminal convictions by ICE have surged 770%. Also, is this a year-over-year thing, month-over-month? Like, you could really just mess with somebody reading this. So take these with a grain of salt. While street arrests saw a more than 1,000% increase during the first year of Donald Trump's second term, according to a new analysis released Thursday. The analysis by the Deportation Data Project at UC Berkeley found that ICE arrests, more than quadrupled in that period, with transfers from jails and prisons roughly doubling. The much increased street arrests took place in neighborhoods, an immigration court, and in ICE field offices during regular immigration check-ins, the report said, quote, arrests not in jails or prisons at this order of magnitude are a new phenomenon. For both types of arrest, ICE was much less likely to target people with criminal convictions, according to the analysis by the Deportation Data Project, which is led by a group of academics and lawyers that collect, post, and analyze government immigration enforcement data. The changes in enforcement led to a 770% increase in immigration arrests of people without criminal convictions, according to the analysis. The report, the project's analysis, is based on data obtained through a lawsuit filed under the Freedom of Information Act, a FOIA request, and covers arrests through March 10th. Quote, it's well known that ICE has been pursuing a campaign of indiscriminate arrests. Stop it, come on. But it's less well known that even as ICE has arrested more people who likely could win their cases and stay in the United States, arrests have been ending more often in deportation because you're here illegally. That's why. Yeah, you get deported if you're here illegally. But we have to act stupid. That should just be the name of my show. We got to act stupid. So people are obviously have their panties in a bunch over this. Oh, I thought we'd just go after the criminals. No, we're not. No. You're here illegally, criminal or not. See ya. By the way, you do that in another country. Yeah, no, in this one, we have to act gracious. Yeah, we have to have empathy with this one. But yet the other countries, no, they'll deport you. Yeah, if you do this in any other country, and I'm speaking in general terms, yeah, you're deported real quick. By the way, you'll probably do a little bit of prison time, and then you'll be deported. And their prisons aren't nice there. They're little mud huts with no AC or anything like that. And but you get, you're eating bugs to stay alive. Yeah, but us, we got to make sure you get like a 5-course meal. You get a jacuzzi in your cell. You get a nice little back massage. You get a masseuse, get free health care. They'll trans you and all that other stuff. Yeah. It's freaking mind blowing. Do y'all remember that video we did like 4 years ago where New York City built like that tent encampment for these illegal aliens? And the video got taken down by YouTube. I don't know if it's up anymore. I tried re-uploading it. It gave them a 3-course meal. But check this out. It's not just any random meal. They built this tent housing for all these illegal aliens. It was a 3-course meal that they would get, but it was catered to kind of their like country of region. Like if you're Mexican, you get Mexican food. You know what I mean? If you're American, I'm being silly, but you get a burger and fries, right? It's a catered to what they would like. It was air conditioning. They got bedding. They got clothes. They had laundry services there. They had coffee tables, couches, Xboxes, free phones, plasma TVs. They're not plasma anymore, but flat screen TVs everywhere. I think they had a gym, if I remember correctly. This is going back 4 years. It blew my mind. I mean, they were living in some cases better than a lot of the Americans were. I say a lot, but some Americans, like our veterans. So freaking silly. And we're paying for it. Well, the New Yorkers are paying for it, but in some way, shape, or form, that comes from federal funds too. I'm sure they're siphoning and moving stuff around that we don't know about. Here, finally, we got some good news. Let's do a little palate cleanser here. Some good news. So remember when I was a teacher for a decade, basically from 2016 was really when I started effectively in the education field doing my master's degree. And when you do your master's degree, you have to start pretty much immediately doing observations and student teaching. And I went to USC, so they make you do 2 years of this stuff, 1.5 years, 2 years. Whereas most schools, you just got to do like a semester of this stuff. I had to do 2 years. Anyways, and then I just left this year. So I did it for like a decade. And remember how I said people don't stand for the Pledge of Allegiance anymore? Like some schools literally won't stand, nor will they say the Pledge of Allegiance. Like they'll do it over the intercom. But the students, the kids in the classroom aren't saying it out loud. I can count on 2 hands in a decade. And I'm not exaggerating, by the way. Please understand that this is legit. I think I count on 2 hands, maybe one, the amount of students I've ever seen say the Pledge of Allegiance out loud. So think about that. You're in the classroom, 180 school days with the kids in the classroom. 180 days, you times that by 10. So, with that being said, now I was always the only person saying it out loud. School reinstates Pledge of Allegiance following lawsuit claiming students weren't given opportunity. Here we go. A school district in Maine has had an apparent change of heart after a lawsuit filed by a father-son duo a month ago claimed it did not allow high school students the opportunity to recite the Pledge of Allegiance in classrooms. The Portland Press Herald first reported last month that Christopher Hickey filed the suit on behalf of his 10th grade son, Clayton, alleging that the school in southern Maine was violating a longstanding district policy and state statute requiring that students recite the Pledge of Allegiance daily. According to the lawsuit, the pledge was a regular occurrence in both the district's elementary and middle schools, while students in high school did not participate in the ritual for 2 years. When you say ritual, it's a little cultish. But the thing is that if you're not pledging allegiance to the United States, who are you pledging allegiance to? And I've said this before, and I'm not sold on it, but it's a question that I've raised, is should you be able to have dual citizenship? I am more inclined to say no. I'm not sold on it again. But if we were to ever, let's say you had citizenship with China and you had citizenship with the United States. And we've seen people do on the street interviews of this stuff. Who would you pledge allegiance to? If we went to war with them, are you pledging allegiance with China or are you pledging allegiance to the United States? And time again on these on-street interviews, I've seen people with dual citizenship not side with the United States, that they would side with their other country. And I would say it's a lot. Now, that could be faked in the sense of they're just showing you those videos because we know that's going to get the most eyes and the most audience and the most engagement, because you're seeing somebody and your mind's blown. You're seeing somebody say, well, no, I'd pledge allegiance to Canada. I wouldn't pledge allegiance to the United States. But, if the 20 other people they talk to, they'd all pledge allegiance to the United States. So it could be a little bit fictitious and a little bit misleading in that way. Well, leadership for the school district told Fox News Digital that families are encouraged to come forward with questions and concern about the district's policies, saying the Pledge of Allegiance is an option for students that can be recited at the high school. At the high school itself, students are welcome to say the Pledge of Allegiance if they choose. Now that this matter has been brought to our attention, we have taken steps to provide an opportunity during the school day for students who wish to say the Pledge of Allegiance to do so during a designated time. I actually think it's an important thing to do, to say the Pledge of Allegiance, because it's a great reminder of not just how great this country is, but who ultimately, if things went usurpacious or went wrong, that you would side with the country that you're, getting a free, air quotes, free education from. So, and the reason why I bring that up, it goes more so to like a religious aspect too, where the scriptures constantly, the Lord himself, through the mouthpiece of those that were writing the various scriptures, was constantly reminding his people of the things he'd done and the promises that he made with them. People are very forgetful. Even God, the being that created you, knows that. And so when you're reading the scriptures, he always says, remember, remind. Hey, look forward to this. I'm going to do this, but you need to remember it. It's a constant thing. People are very forgetful. And so there's that for you. There's also, speaking of school districts. So anyways, I want to make sure I actually connect that for you. The Pledge of Allegiance is a great reminder of not just how great this country is, but also that you owe your allegiance to this great country. A teacher here, this is a very short clip, it's 10 seconds long, when our LGBTQ communities are having their rights stripped away. Here we go again. I gotta mute it because it's gonna flag me. She's not saying anything. Oh boy, hold on a second. Okay, so for those on audio, we have a podcast that gets uploaded to audio. There's a teacher putting up the LGBTQ plus flag, right? That has the trans flag incorporated with the rainbows. She put it up, looks like to be in her classroom. And then there's captions that say the stripped away part, the rights are being stripped away. And then she has a bookshelf. So this is clearly elementary school, which makes it even worse. And I know that one from the style of books that's down there because I was a teacher, but I was a high school teacher. And then also the pictures on the wall. You know what's crazy? Do you guys see this right here on your screen? You will see high school classrooms that look like this. The education system's so degraded that you will have pictures like this in people's high school classrooms. Now, the pictures will be drawn a little bit better, don't get me wrong, but it's not really much different. Like they'll do the turkeys and stuff like that. It's so degraded. Remember when we were in high school and you would have these massive like anatomy pictures or these crazy like posters on the wall and you're just like, this looks like hieroglyphics. Like I can't even understand what I'm looking at. Not nowadays, dude. You'll be in freaking calculus A, B, B, C, and you'll see like 2 + 2 = 4 as a reminder for you. And if you think I'm kidding, you know I'm not joking. That's not entertainment. That is the real deal, man. Well, you guys should all go to a high school and just look around. Take a moment. Take it all in. So the book here that she has that she's trying to focus your attention on is I can't read that. Anti-Racist Baby. It's really small. That's what she said. That's what they want your kids reading. Isn't that just lovely? Now, the indoctrination has to start early because once you get it early and then they go to the next class and they're being indoctrinated there, then they go 18 years. We'll say 15 years because you graduated at 18. 15 years, maybe 13, depending. Years of indoctrination. No wonder it's hard when you try to speak the truth to somebody that they live their entire life only hearing one thing. And so when you're the guy that tells them something different, you're the crazy one. So it makes a little sense why everyone thinks you're crazy in the chat when you start talking truth to them, because they went their entire freaking life. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, Brad, you weren't the best decorator in the room. Yeah, what he's referring to, Bit is one of my former students. I was known to have bare walls, and I always make a joke about it. I never put up posters or anything like that in my classroom. One, it's a waste of freaking time because every summer they make you take that stuff down. And two, I'm not a decorator. I don't like. I have paintings and stuff like that. I'm like here and stuff, but yeah, I want your focus on me. I don't want your focus looking around. You don't get no help. Yeah, so he's being a smart ass, which I appreciate. I love that shit. But yeah, I was known around the school and even once my colleagues to not have a decorated classroom. But you know what's funny, Will, is a lot of teachers don't have their rooms there decorated anymore because of that very thing that you had to clear out your entire classrooms. I think it was last summer or the summer before. And some teachers had 15 years of stuff on their walls and in their classroom. They had these bookshelves and it looked nice. These nice little chairs that they brought in. Yeah, they ain't putting stuff up anymore because they realize every summer you got to take this stuff down. Oh, we're painting the classrooms. They didn't paint nothing. Anywho. So anyway, she has this anti-racist baby thing here. Jaguars and butterflies. It's so hard to see. I gotta lean in. I think it's called. Can you guys see that? Jaguars and butterflies. I think that's what it's called. Maybe I gotta Google it. Hold on a second. It's hard to see. Jaguars and butterflies. Nope. That's what it's called. Yep. Jaguars and Butterflies by Catherine Russler is a children's book ages 4 to 8 that serves as a self-empowerment resource for girls of Mexican heritage, celebrating Mexican culture, art, and geography through poetry and colorful illustrations by Ellie, I think is it. It aims to increase representation of children's literature, encouraging self-esteem and confidence in Latinx girls, while also educating all children about the beauty of Latinx culture. Where's the American culture at? That's what I want to know. Where's the Americana? I see a lot of other stuff here. Anybody, let me know. It could still be there. Maybe it's hidden behind all the other, other interesting books. Looks like they got a Chinese new thing here. They got Chinese. They got anti-racist baby. They got the Mexican culture. Where's the American stuff? The country they live in. That basically is the greatest country on earth. That gave people freedoms, their liberties. Here, what's this next one? Here's some more stuff. Oh, it's behind the couch. So when they sit down, they get to see this. We need diverse books. Why don't you just get them to read first? They can't count. I know this. They not only can they not count, they can't read. So rather than focusing on all this cultural stuff, I'm fine with that. Why don't you just make sure they know how to freaking read first, so that when they get to 12th grade, where I saw them, they didn't have to read problems out loud for them and tell them what with meant, between, agriculture, checkbook, reconcile, limitation. The fact that I can list off all these words tells you how much of a problem it was for people that are going to nice ass schools, can't read remotely at grade level. So rather than focusing on all this crap, why don't you focus on giving them books that they can read? There's a diverse book. Why don't we need diverse books? Because we need them just to be able to read first. How about that? I don't mind having diverse books. I don't mind focusing on other cultures. I think there's a priority that we should have. You should maybe focus on Americana culture first, liberties, freedoms, what makes America great. You know, it'd be a great book for them to read? The Constitution. There's a book that they should read. How about read the Bill of Rights? How about read the Declaration of Independence? When I was in, I think it was 6th or 8th grade, we got extra credit, no, it wasn't extra credit. We got to bypass the final if you remembered and memorized the Declaration of Independence. That was a real thing. I forgot the guy's name that had us do it, and it always stuck with me. If you memorized the Declaration of Independence, then you had to go up front in front of the entire class and recite it by heart. That's how it should be done. That's all American, baby. So there's that for you. Yep. Yeah, maybe we start making kids memorize like actual documents. Actually, I should do that myself now. What's stopping you from doing it, Brad? Nothing really, actually. I should do it. I should do it. Let's see what this is. So it looks like Marissa Straight from PragerU. She's the CEO, if you guys didn't know. She says, I keep hoping that this bizarre thing we see on social media are AI. I'm not sure what's more unsettling, the idea of AI distorting reality or the possibility that people are losing their minds entirely. Let's see this. So this is from Gad Saad. Is that how you say his name? Gad Saad?
Deal with the ongoing genocide of MMIW G2SLGBTQIA+.
Hold on a second. Come here.
Deal with the ongoing genocide of MMIW G2SLGBTQIA+. Of MMIW G2SLGBTQIA+.
What?
Deal with the ongoing genocide.
It's just so unbelievable. Get in. Why are there two Qs? What's the second Q? And by the way, what's this genocide talk? What the hell are we talking about here? The Canadian government just dropped this absolute monstrosity. Really? No. We got a lot of people here. Start commenting, please. First of all, we're having repeats. I need help. This isn't a joke. What's the double M? And then what's the double Q? Craig, son of a. Craig says dudes were. First of all, dudes reciting an entire tranny mafia alphabet. It's a skill. It is a skill. No wonder Marissa's down here saying that this could be AI. I don't blame her. She's right. By the way, everything she said is right. We're going to retweet that. We're going to repost that. That is correct. Agreed. Yes. I keep hoping these bizarre things we see on social media are AI. Me too. But it's real. What is the Is it really? Queer and questioning? Is that true? First of all, Craig, it's a little odd you know all this stuff. Craig, you're a little tranny, freaky deaky serial killer like the Gilgo Beach guy. Little freak. I love it. Missing and schmurdered. You guys are messing with me. All right, well. I've never seen somebody do that before. That was crazy. It's too early for that. You know what? I want to apologize to all you in the chat. I shouldn't have done that to you. You're right. It is too early for that crap. I mean, this is the type of stuff you hear when you're drunk, right?
Genocide of MMIW G2SLGBTQIA+.
That was your friend telling you, hey, we're going home, buddy. You've had too much to drink. Get in the back of the taxi. This is what you hear your friend saying, though, as you being the drunk person.
MMIW G2SLGBTQIA+.
You don't know me, man. I've never met you before. It's like, dude, we've been friends since middle school, dude. I've known you for 40 years. Get in the back of the truck, Chuck. Freaking drunk, you alcoholic.
This is abhorrent.
This is abhorrent. This is irreprehensible.
This is abhorrent. Deal with the...
Hold on a second. Give me a frame.
Deal with the ongoing genocide of MMIW G2SLGBTQIA+. This is abhorrent. Deal with the ongoing... You see my gang signs there? Did you see that? Can you imagine the person doing sign language? You're fucking shit, man. You fucking shit. Oh, boy. All right. Context. All right. Actually, you know what? Let's go to the chat section real quick. Somebody deciphered it. Somebody deciphered the code. This is like... We were speaking the Zodiac before. This is some code. Get in here. This is, you know, there was like that cipher that nobody could crack for like 30 years with the Zodiac Killer, and somebody finally did it. Here we go. Okay. Everybody, focus. This is like the Wind Talkers from World War II with the Navajo. You know, we cracked the code here. This is what it stands for. Stands for missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls. I thought you were kidding. Who said that? Who said the murdered stuff before? Little smart aleck in here. Where was he? Who said it? I thought you're screwing with me. I want to apologize. Okay, it was Electric Lemon. Well done, sir, ma'am, whoever. You guys know this, dude. I don't know about my audience anymore. I got a lot of questions for you guys, bro. The fact that you know this stuff, you weirdos. All right, we'll see if Craigie was right. Frick, he was. Craig was right. Queer and questioning. You freaking psychos in the chat, you weirdos. Oh my God. And look at the bullseye. It's not something to be bragging about. It's not. The fact that you know that, I don't know what's going on here. Tell me, anybody that's other than Craig and Electric Lemon in here, why do you know this? Okay, sorry. We're deciphering this. I apologize. Back huddle up again. Sorry, I was yelling in your ear. I apologize. You don't have to back up. Get closer. Come on. Missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit. Oh. I remember us looking up the Two-Spirit thing at one point. I don't remember the answer, but I remember us looking it up. Lesbian, we know that one. Gay, heard of it. Bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning. That one still just blows my mind. Intersex, and A+ sexual people. Are we already to the end? That felt a lot quicker than how she said it, right? I felt like there should be more here. Okay, so this acronym is used in Canada. That's like the password when you knock on the steel door to get into your ritual thing, you know, where they start transing you, lopping off your PP and giving you hormone enhancers and puberty blockers. That's what, if you don't recite that, you're not a real deal. Well, it's used in Canada to represent, oh, my monitors went out. Hold on. There we go. To represent the disproportionate rates of violence, murder, and disappearance faced by Indigenous women, girls, and gender diverse individuals, largely as a result of ongoing colonial violence, systemic racism, and marginalization. Oh my God. Ah! It's too early for this stuff, man. I'm not even joking, dude. I don't have the brain power for this, dude. It's too much. I gotta see what people say here. People are savages, bro. People are way meaner than me. Hold on. Why is it always we get to the good stuff at the end of the show? Have you guys noticed that we stumble upon just good stuff at the end of the show every time? Can we... Look, I'm not complaining. I'm thankful for it. The social media gods are giving us the content. But all I'm asking is maybe can we get to it at the beginning? Can we stumble across the stuff through our perusing? This was not scheduled. Can we maybe get into this like at the beginning of the show? So when the people find us, they're more entertained. Indigenous isn't a sexual or gender identity. Damn, Samantha. That's from Samantha Smith. Well said. Nor is black or brown or Asian or any other ethnicity. They took a distinct issue and bolted it onto the pre-existing LGBTQ framework like some backwards inclusivity trophy that has no positive practical effect. All right, that just sounds a little nerdy to me. Sam, I was on board this first little bit, but now you're getting to, well, the Presbyterian of eschatology of the scriptures in 1600 wasn't exactly. So let me look. I'm not in disagreement with her. Okay, she's clearly smarter than me. Well, they took a distinct issue, and what they really did with this issue was they bolted it onto the pre-existing LGBT framework. Now, if you look into the framework, like some backwards inclusivity trophy that has no positive practical effect, really. You know, I mean, I suppose if you read anything that way, it sounds a little geeky, but not wrong. Jacob says, I wonder how the gay and lesbian people feel about their entire identity being lumped together with literally every perceived victim group that people can think of. Yeah. Yep. Oh, Matt Walsh posted it. Allegedly. For anyone who doesn't speak woke retard. Matt Walsh was kindly provided definitions. Well, we know we have two retards then in the chat. That would be Craig and Electric Lemon, according to Based Gays. You're retarded because you know how to speak this. Oh, that's incredible. I mean, what does that say about me? I didn't know this. I know some of them. I knew queer and trans. No one ever goes full retard, you know? Hey. Oh, I mean, yes, actually, shout out is a good password. So for those on audio, somebody put the password. You have to enter a password to log into things. And somebody put that acronym, that like MMIWG 2S thingy as their password. Incredible. I wonder how many people actually have that as their password. That is so funny. That is so funny.
To the no, 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 yeah, to the no, no, yeah, to the no, to the no, 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 hell, no, no, to the no,
no, to the no, no, yeah, boo, no, boo, red, no, no, man, no, no, loud. This was us.
This word correctly.
Oh my God, this is incredible. This is smart. If somebody AI'd this, please, please.
JD, if you spell this word correctly, you will be crowned this year's Scripps National Spelling Bee Champion. The word is Meathwig 2 Slug Buck QE+.
Can you give me the country of origin, please?
Yes, of course. The country of origin is none other than Canada.
Is it so?
Can you give me the definition, please?
Dude, this would be totally me.
Single word used to describe every minority group ever conceived, including several that are still pending approval.
Mish, Wig 2, Slug, Bupku, Ia, E+. Can you use it in a sentence?
You are not a member of the Maywig 2 Slug QQEA plus community, therefore we will not be hiring you for this position.
Me Wig 2 Slug Baku EA plus MMIWG2S
Dude, the side cut is incredible.
LGBTQ.
I'm done. Oh god, dude. Stop it.
QIA plus.
That is correct. You are this year's National Spelling Bee
It's like fucking what?
champion. Congratulations.
Hold on, I gotta go back to his facial reaction.
Be cheap.
Like, the fuck? All right, that's a good one to end off on. Oh my god, the zooming in on the mouth when he's like, Q. It's like, oh, jeez, bro. That's incredible. That's incredible. Anyways, alrighty, folks. I'm a little dizzy after that. Yeah, I'm a little dizzy. That was great. Well, look, that's what we do here. We cover the news. We have a little bit of fun. We go over like the serious stuff. We also go over the freaky deaky, and we also go over a little bit of fun. That's what it's about here. And hopefully you laughed at the end and kind of like, okay, you know, things aren't that bad. I mean, things are bad. Things are bad, but not as bad as maybe we think they are. Always appreciate you guys hanging out with me. And we'll be back here tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Then it's the weekend. Thank God. All right, folks, we'll have a lovely day. Pray for this country. Pray for Donald Trump. And if you guys see any good stuff, can you like email me or tweet at me or something like that? If you guys see good stuff on X, I would love to cover it here on the show. You know, if you see something that you think the audience will like and laugh about, let's do it here. So email me stuff. And if you want to post some stuff on X with the link, like, at me or whatever, do that. And I would love to cover it here on the show. So with that being said, have a great weekend, you guys. Love you. And, be safe. And I really do hope you guys have a blessed day and an even better evening. So I'll see you a little bit later, guys. Adios.